Need to tune out that leaky bathroom tub? Man, I really should get that fixed.
Raycon's got you covered this holiday season with their early Black Friday sale, 20% off or 30% off on bundles. Use promo code EARLYBF to save today. Great gift for somebody or for yourself. Check out rayconglobal.com today. And now, onward to Zelda month. So sorry. We're back with a new episode here today. And we're not talking about Sonic Frontiers yet. I am currently in the middle of playing this brand new Sonic game right now that I pre-ordered and in the middle of. And it's good. They did it. Sega finally did it. But we're here talking about The Legend of Zelda because it is Zelda month. And today on the show, we're talking about the upcoming sequel that's going to be coming out in May of next year, Tears of the Kingdom. And as always, get yourself a beverage, sit back, relax. Let's dive right into the land of Hyrule once more. So we talk about this upcoming sequel to Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. The sequel to Breath of the Wild has officially gotten a release date. Now, I wanted to talk about it. How long ago? 2 months ago. This trailer came out 2 months ago. Holy cow. I wanted to talk about it 2 months ago, but I figured I would save it for Zelda month. And here we are. Everybody else has already talked about this trailer. I've shared on my social media accounts. Oh, Tears of the Kingdom's coming out. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about Tears of the Kingdom. Not Tears. Not Tears. Been officially confirmed that it's Tears of the Kingdom. So, the sequel to Breath of the Wild 2 that we have been waiting for the last few years. I remember the first trailer that came out back in, I believe, 2019 when that first trailer hit. It showed Link and Zelda going to the underground caverns, and then there was this arm grabbing the chest of a mummified Ganondorf, all this malice and everything, and then something happens to Link's arm, which you'll see that in the second trailer that came out, I believe, last year, the second trailer. We waited 2 years for a second trailer to come out. Okay, cool. So the second trailer comes out, which I talked about last year in a video of Breath of the Wild 2. We saw, Link's arm being transformed. We saw the mummified version of Ganondorf. Then we see Link falling through the sky, and we see islands in the sky, and I'm like, oh wow. And then we see Link with his arm transformed and using different mechanics like the Sheikah Slate did. So we were kind of wondering what happened to the Master Sword, because that's looking a little bit messed up too and broken or something. Has his arm become the Master Sword? I don't know. It's just a lot of unanswered questions that we're looking at with Tears of the Kingdom coming up. And the third trailer that has the official title of Tears of the Kingdom, it's really great. So I'm going to pop this on here as we've done before. Watch it. So here we go. You got this wall here with, some sort of being. These murals. All the moblins, bokoblins, and looks like malice. Knight's going against it. Alright, cool. And there's like little teardrops around this. Looks like an important person. And it looks like Zelda being lifted up. Interesting. There's another person that looks like Zelda. Grand doors open up and there's Link. He's already up in the sky running. Oh! Oh, look at that. Is that like reversing time of falling rocks? Climbing up? So you got the climbing abilities. Not sure what that stone bird looking thing is. Maybe a transport of some sort. But then you got the two dragon heads going in a circle in the title, and then the sword, the master sword, that you usually see that goes through the Z. It looks a little messed up. So May 12th, 2023 is when that game's coming out. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff with Tears of the Kingdom. Now, one of the biggest things about Breath of the Wild that we look at, there's this, you see a lot of dragon-like stuff down, especially in the Faron area of Breath of the Wild. You know, there's a lot of dragon head statues, and there's these labyrinths that also kind of have similar elements to that, you know, when playing through the game. And then, of course, you got your dragons that are out there, like Faron, Nehru, and such. And so, and then you got the skeletal structures of, you know, deceased big dragons, like Levias is one of them. And we see Levias in, you know, Skyward Sword. And so when I look at the Sky Islands in this trailer, it harkens back to me to Skyward Sword. You know, which Skyward Sword is the first entry of the Zelda timeline. You know, the beginning of demise is rage and wrath and malice, so to speak, which that continues as a curse for generations upon generations in the form of Ganondorf, of course, or Ganon. You know, you see the reincarnations of Ganon, even though there's Vaati as well and other villains that you'll see throughout the Zelda series. But it all started with Demise, and that's where it all started with him and Hylia. So in the very beginnings of Skyward Sword, you know, you see Skyloft, you see these Sky Islands as well, and it's protected by a cloud barrier. And so that right here, when you look at Tears of the Kingdom, you see that similarities right there. But then there's this so-called missing race that disappeared called the Zonai people. Don't know a whole ton about them, but I know it's peppered in through Breath of the Wild about Zonais. And so that's the biggest mystery. Does this game answer the questions of what happened to those people? Are they from the Sky Islands? You know, did they go to the sky? Who knows? But then you look at also the game Twilight Princess, where you have City in the Sky as a dungeon, you know, protecting a cloud barrier as well. So, yeah, there's just, the whole Sky Islands thing gets me with Tears of the Kingdom. And you also will see in the other trailers of Hyrule Castle being lifted up and malice spewing out from underneath it. You know, so, and you see a lot of landmarks going up into the sky as well. It's very interesting. Tears of the Kingdom is a very interesting game that's coming out. And the biggest thing that, you know, again, it seems that to me is the Sky Islands, but then the Master Sword and Link's arm, how his arm has transformed. What happened to the Master Sword? You know, during the whole spill in the very first trailer where Link's arm gets infected and you see the mummified version of Ganondorf coming back to life, you know. So, and then you see throughout the game, you know, how Link, you know, uses like a reverse time mechanic with his arm, you know, throwing a spike ball back to some bokoblins, and, you know, you'll see him kind of warping through, you know, some of the structures. It's pretty wild to see what's going to take place with Tears of the Kingdom. So, is Ganondorf back in this one? Does he resurrect? Does he come back? Is there an entire new villain in this game? Some people theorize maybe that guy in the mural is Vaati coming back, you know, from previous Zelda games. Or maybe it's just a whole sage. Maybe it's Hylia. I don't know. It's a lot of mysteries that we see with this. So I'm excited for this upcoming Zelda game. It's very, very awesome looking, very beautiful. And, you know, we're not chasing around memories and like we did in Breath of the Wild to recover what happened 100 years ago to figure out that story. And I'm sure this is still going to be free world exploration, maybe a little linear. Hopefully there's some dungeons in there that we'll find. in this, instead of the 120 shrines and 4 divine beasts, I really miss the Zelda dungeons, the classic dungeons, and maybe they'll have a mixture of both. Maybe they'll have the Zelda dungeons. Maybe they will have some shrines that you'll go into in this one. And, the thing you do notice in the geographic stuff is, the towers are gone, the shrines are gone. And is this maybe another timeline? Who knows? We don't know. A lot of unanswered mysteries till we find out what happens in this upcoming game of The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Very excited for this one, and just wanted to kind of share my thoughts on the trailer that came out 2 months ago, and just kind of reference a couple of the stuff that we've seen in the previous trailers, and how it all connects. Yeah, we thought we were rid of Ganon, Calamity Ganon, but really, was that just a shell of what is to come, And how long has Ganondorf been locked wherever he is? I believe he's probably locked underneath Hyrule Castle, since Hyrule Castle is floated up. So that's my theory. And my other theory is what timeline does these games take place in? Because I know the physical human form of Ganondorf, dies either in, Wind Waker, but the Master Sword is stuck in the skull of Ganondorf, and he turns to stone. But I believe maybe this is from the Twilight Princess Ganondorf, where when he dies there, because there's that open wound in his chest right here when the sages attempted to execute him. And maybe that's where the arm is trying to hold back, you see in the very first trailer, the malice from continuing to spew out. Because it looks very similar to that Ganondorf. A lot of theories, a lot of stuff with it. And that's why I love the Zelda series. You could theorize so many different things and talk about very different things. Of course, you have to play the games. You have to know what's going on. The little eye-catching things that you'll find in all the Zelda series. If you're a casual Zelda person, you're probably like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm a big Zelda fan, of course. I studied it. I've read upon these games, and it's just so fascinating to just read all the theories, the lores, and stories behind some of these things. And yeah, there's debates. There is debates out there, but it's all legends. The key word, legend. That's why they call it a legend. So, with that being said, I'm excited for Breath of the Wild sequel, Tears of the Kingdom. Looking forward to that in May. And so, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and take care.